Deep beneath the surface of your awareness, a serpent waits. Not a creature of flesh, but a coiled presence, dormant, silent, patient. This is not a metaphor. This is not a symbol. This is memory. The memory of a power so ancient, so primal, that even the stars seem young beside it. In the ancient tongues, it has many names: Kundalini, Shakti, the coiled one, the divine fire, the serpent of awakening. But names are shadows, and this is light. Imagine a force curled 3.5 times at the base of your spine, a spiral of energy hidden in darkness, buried in bone, muscle, fear. It is not asleep by accident. It sleeps because the world is not yet quiet enough to hear it. Every tradition knew it. The shamans, the mystics, the temple builders who laid stone upon stone, mirroring the vertebrae of the cosmic body. From India to Egypt, from Tibet to the Andes, they spoke of the fire serpent that lies beneath, not to be feared, but to be remembered. Kundalini is the force that moves when nothing else can. She is the architect of transformation, the keeper of the sacred code, the one who burns illusion and births sight. But she does not rise for the curious. She does not answer to the clever. She does not awaken because you want her to. She awakens when the soul is ready to be rewritten. You have felt her, even if you didn't know it. In dreams that leave your heart racing, in sudden moments of silence so deep, you forget your own name. In the electric pull towards something unknown but undeniable. She is there, watching, waiting, winding quietly through the roots of your being. She is not linear. She is spiral. She does not speak. She vibrates. She hums beneath your language. She stirs beneath your identity. And when she rises, she takes everything that is false and burns it. This is why the serpent sleeps. Not to punish, but to protect. Because to awaken Kundalini is not to gain something, it is to lose everything that isn't true. The ancient sages warned, this is not a path of power, it is a path of death. The death of the masks you wear, the beliefs you hold, the self you mistake for who you are. She coils at the base, the Muladhara, the root, the gate, the ground of survival. And from that root, she waits for your silence, your stillness, your yes. Because when she moves, she does not knock. She rises like fire through dry forest. She climbs the spine like lightning on a tree. She does not ask, she initiates. So now ask yourself, do you hear the hum beneath your breath, the heat in the stillness, the tension in your bones that is not fear but calling? Because if you do, she is near. She is listening. She is beginning to move. Not because you seek her, but because she has chosen you. You do not live in your body. You are the flame that dances inside it. But the body is sacred. A temple not of stone, but of blood, bone, and breath. Every ancient tradition knew the temple outside was built in the image of the temple within. Pyramids, pagodas, ziggurats, all rising structures, reflections of the human spine. You are built to ascend. Your body is not just flesh. It is a tower, a stairway, a living conduit. And the serpent is the current that moves through it. At the base, she coils. In the root, Muladhara, where survival lives, where the earth still speaks through your bones. But this is only the first gate. Above it, 6 more chambers await. 7 in total, 7 seals, 7 songs. These are not just chakras, they are temples within the temple. Each one holds memory, wounds, gifts, codes. They are not merely energy centers, they are thresholds. And Kundalini is the key. From root to crown, the serpent must pass through. Svadhisthana, the waters of desire; Manipura, the fire of will; Anahata, the breath of love; Vishuddha, the voice of truth; Ajna, the eye that sees; Sahasrara, the crown of silence. Each level is not a reward, it is a trial, a test, a mirror. She will not rise through blocked gates. She will not burn through falsehoods that you are not ready to release. That is why the temple must be purified. The path must be cleared. The vessel must be strong enough to carry the fire. In ancient temples, rituals were performed before entering the inner sanctum. Bathing, fasting, silence, intention. Not superstition, but preparation. So it is with your temple. Your spine is the pillar, your breath, the bellows, your heart, the altar. And somewhere deep inside, coiled at the base of your being, Kundalini waits to rise. But make no mistake, she is not a decoration. She is not a feeling. She is not a moment of bliss. She is the architect of transformation. She will remake your temple from the inside out. She will test the integrity of your walls. She will shake your foundations. She will strip away false icons. And only when the temple is ready will the flame rise cleanly to the crown. So ask yourself, is your temple hollow or hallowed? Is it filled with noise or listening? Do you treat your body as a container of spirit or a cage of flesh? Because when the serpent stirs, she will not honor your beliefs. She will honor only your structure. You are the temple, and the divine fire is already within, waiting to rise through every gate you dare to open. It is not just energy. It is information, a message, a pattern, a code buried not in language but in life itself. Kundalini is the coil. But what coils? Not just energy but intelligence. Not just fire, but a map, a blueprint, a sleeping architecture of awakening. Within the serpent lies memory. Memory of who you were before you forgot, before you fell into form, before the world taught you what was real. She carries the echo of the original design. Ancient traditions whisper of a time before time, a golden age, a first light, when human beings were not fallen but luminous, whole, unfractured, unified with Source. That time is not lost, it is encrypted, encoded in the spiral. The double helix of your DNA is the mark of the serpent. Two strands coiling upward, a ladder, a staff, a serpent entwined with itself. The caduceus, the staff of Hermes, the spine of life. This is not coincidence. It is remembrance. Your body remembers. Your cells remember. They wait for activation, not by touch, not by thought, but by resonance. Resonance is the language of the serpent. Sound, breath, vibration. These are the keys that unlock the coils. This is why mantras matter, why sacred chants echo through stone temples, why silence holds more power than speech. Because the code is vibrational, and vibration changes form. When Kundalini begins to stir, she vibrates through the nervous system. She sings through the spine. And each chakra responds, like a string on a forgotten instrument. If you are in tune, the song begins. If not, there is dissonance, and dissonance becomes fire. This is why awakening can burn, because the serpent carries the truth of your being. and anything in you that does not align must break. You are not just awakening energy, you are decrypting yourself, peeling back layers of programming, of trauma, of stories, until what remains is signal. Pure, undivided, untamed. This is not magic. This is ancient technology. Organic, spiritual, cosmic. The body is the device, the breath, the password, the serpent, the program waiting to run. So much of what we call awakening is not becoming something new. It is remembering something older than the stars. You are the code. You are the lock. You are the key. And when all three align, the serpent begins to move. Not with noise, but with knowing. Not with chaos, but with rhythm. Not with force, but with fire. She does not knock. She does not whisper. She rises like fire. When the serpent moves, she does not ask permission. She does not wait for your comfort. She does not seek your approval. She moves according to a deeper law, one older than fear, older than self. At first, you may feel heat in the spine, in the belly, in the base of everything you thought was stable. A warmth that grows, then pulses, then burns. But this is not physical fire. It is a cleansing flame, a force that seeks nothing but truth. And truth, when it meets illusion, must destroy. The ancient texts do not romanticize Kundalini. They describe her in storms, in shivering, in loss of identity, in death not of the body, but of the mask. Because when the serpent rises, everything false begins to die. The ego, the lies you tell yourself, the structures you build to feel safe, they cannot withstand her. Your mind may panic, your emotions may scream, your body may tremble. But this is not chaos. This is purification. Fire from below. It crawls upward through your root, breaking survival patterns. It enters your belly, disrupting hunger, desire, need. Then it reaches the heart, and there it lingers. Because here, the serpent meets your grief, your shame, your forgotten joy, your ancient ache. She does not skip the heart, she tests it. Not for love, but for truth. If you resist, she will burn harder. If you surrender, she will guide you. But either way, you will never be the same. Some speak of visions, of lights, of sounds never heard by ears. Others speak of terror, of identity collapsing, of crying without knowing why. Both are true. Both are valid. This is not a spiritual performance. This is a death and rebirth. You are not becoming enlightened. You are becoming real. And reality is raw. It does not always feel like bliss. Sometimes it feels like breaking. But this fire does not destroy you. It destroys what is not you. And in that burning, what remains is sacred. Let it burn, let it rise, let it cleanse. Do not seek to control it. Do not seek to understand it. Let it do what only it can do. Make you whole again. Because this fire is not foreign. It is not other. It is you, the real you, the ancient you, the you that remembers the first light. When fire rises from below, you are no longer who you were, and that is the point. Once the fire rises, it does not stop. It moves upward, not blindly, but with precision, with purpose. Every step is a trial, every gate a test, every ascent a surrender. The ancients were not wrong when they spoke of 7 seals, 7 thresholds, 7 veils between the human and the divine. This is the path of ascent, not outward but inward, not vertical but sacred. Each chakra is not just an energy point, it is a guardian, a gatekeeper, a mirror. Kundalini does not simply pass through, she challenges, she awakens, she demands. 1. Muladhara, the root. Here she tests your survival, your fear, your dependence on the material, your attachment to safety. You must ask, am I rooted in truth or in control? She shakes the ground, not to punish, but to reveal your foundation. 2. Svadhisthana, the waters. Desire stirs, shadows rise, old emotions flood the body. This is the realm of pleasure, shame, and longing. The serpent dances through water, seeking what you've denied. Can you feel without drowning? Can you face the tides of your own past? 3. Manipura, the fire. Here, the fire meets fire, power, will, ego. The serpent does not bypass your control, she confronts it. She asks, who commands this vessel, the soul, or the self-image? If you resist, she burns brighter. If you surrender, she purifies. 4. Anahata, the heart. This is not romance. This is not sentiment. This is love stripped of fantasy, the place where compassion meets grief, where forgiveness is not a word but a wound reopened. The serpent coils here. She lingers, not to wound, but to soften. She whispers, can you love without need? Can you open even if it breaks you? 5. Vishuddha, the voice. The power to speak, to tell the truth, to be heard, but also the silence behind words. The serpent rises here with vibration. She tunes your voice to the frequency of authenticity. No more performance, no more masks. Can you speak from the soul, or will you echo the noise of the world? 6. Ajna, the eye. The mind begins to lose shape. Logic fractures. Visions come. Dreams bleed into waking. The serpent becomes light. She floods the eye with memory. This is where the veil lifts, but also where illusion sharpens. Can you discern the real from the false, the symbol from the self? 7. Sahasrara, the crown. She does not enter, she dissolves. At the top, there is no arrival. There is only disappearance. You are no longer climbing. There is no you to climb. This is the return to source, to silence, to the one. Each step on this path is both ascent and descent. Each chakra holds both shadow and light. The serpent is not forcing her way through. She is reflecting what is already there. You are not activating chakras. You are meeting them. You are remembering the sacred architecture within you. This is the inner tower, not of Babel, but of light. And you are climbing it, step by sacred step, not to become divine, but to remember you already are. At the end of the path, there is no path. There is no gate, no teacher, no more serpent. There is only silence. You do not rise into it. You disappear into it. Not like death, but like a drop falling into the ocean. Still there, but no longer separate. Sahasrara, the crown. 1,000-petaled lotus unfolding without sound. No longer seeking, no longer climbing, just being. This is not enlightenment. This is not a title, not a moment to post about, not something to capture in words or symbols. It is the absence of all that could ever be captured. When Kundalini reaches the crown, she does not sit on a throne. She dissolves, you dissolve. Not into bliss, but into being. Pure, unfiltered, formless. The mind may wait for fireworks, for visions, for divine approval. But what comes is stillness. A space beyond thought, beyond time. Not empty, but full of absence. The silence that holds all sound, the dark that births all light. In this moment, there is no awakening, because there is no you left to awaken. There is only that which always was. Many turn back here because the ego does not know how to die without a fight. It wants a crown it can wear, a role it can claim, a story it can tell. But the true crown is silence. It cannot be worn, only entered. This is the final paradox. The serpent that rose through fire and form, through chaos and clarity, was never separate from the source. She was the source, coiled in shadow. She rose only to return, to remind, to show you what cannot be taught. And now she is gone. Not lost, not taken, but dissolved. What remains? Not a thought, not a vision, not even a self. What remains is presence. What remains is the watcher without name. What remains is truth without form. This is not the end. This is the beginning before beginnings, the silence before sound, the center before the serpent coils. This is the zero, the crown, the point of return. So rest here. Do not grasp. Do not define. Do not try to explain what you now are. Simply be it. Be the silence. Be the crown. Be the flame before it chooses to burn. This is the place where breath forgets it is breath, where the path forgets it was ever walked, where the self remembers it was never alone. You believed it was your path, that you would awaken the serpent, that you would climb the tower, that you would find the crown. But now, at the edge of silence, you begin to remember it was never you. It was her. She chose the time. She chose the place. She chose the breath that cracked your world open. Kundalini is not a tool. She is not yours to summon, to control, to tame. She is not fire in a jar. She is not a technique. She is the guardian of your becoming, and she moves when you are ready to disappear. All the meditations, the mantras, the studies, the striving, they were not keys. They were preparation. Not for conquest, but for surrender. Because true awakening is not something you do. It is something that undoes you. The serpent was never asleep. She was waiting. Waiting for the illusion of you to soften. Waiting for the ego to tire. Waiting for silence to grow deeper than your thoughts. Only then could she rise. Not as force, but as grace. This is the secret. Kundalini is not the path. She is the return. The spiral back to what you've always been, to what was never gone, to what never needed to awaken, only to be seen. And so, this video is not a tool. It is not a trigger. It is not the last of anything. It is a mirror, a window, a sound that reminded something deep within you, that she is real, that she is near, that she is already listening. You do not awaken the serpent. The serpent awakens you. She awakens you in the middle of the night with a dream that burns. She awakens you in the stillness between breaths when you suddenly feel the hum of eternity. She awakens you in loss, in silence, in surrender. Not all are meant to awaken in this life, not because they are unworthy, but because the vessel is not yet prepared, because the structure is not yet aligned. And that is sacred too. The waiting is part of the design. There is no failure, only readiness. And readiness has nothing to do with effort. It is a matter of resonance. So if you have felt something stir while hearing these words, if something in your spine responded, or a part of your soul leaned in, then maybe, just maybe, she is near. And maybe, without knowing when or how, you've already begun. The serpent waits for no one, but she always knows who is ready. She awakens you, not to give you answers, but to burn the need for them. She awakens you, not to lead you upward, but to bring you inward, to the center, to the fire, to the stillness. This is the last video you'll ever need, not because it gives you power, but because it reminds you the power is already awake, and now so are you.